All right. Here I am. Oh, echo, echo. Much better. All right. Hey guys, welcome. I'm glad you could all be here. Wanted to do this last night, but got sidetracked with some other things, some of the graphics that you see here, thumbnail, all that sort of thing. So I figured I would do it tonight, and then I realized, oh yeah, tonight's the Super Bowl. I personally don't watch football, so it wasn't on my mind. But I don't know. I think it should be ending or should be over soon. If it isn't, I don't know. When I used to watch with friends, it would right about now would be like when we'd be clearing out. So here you are with me for Kid Icarus. Hopefully we could get through this in one night. I think we can. It's been a while since I played through it, but doesn't really mean anything. We've gone to 2 o'clock my time before, but I think we can get done before that. So let's just jump in and we'll talk as we go. Please give me feedback if I sound okay. As always, it's hard to tell. There's so many different settings I have going on. So if I think about this series, right? This is actually probably one of the first NES games I played. I never had it. A friend of mine had it, and empty room. Yeah, right. So actually, this room would have a challenge room. I think if you do the New Game Plus, you can end up getting a challenge. And to get the challenges, I think you have to have a certain number of kills or a score, something like that, number of hearts. All right, thank you, Jacobian. Sounds good. Thank you. Right, so this is probably one of my first NES, one of the first ones I played. Didn't own it, not till much later. I was always fascinated by it, because for whatever reason, my friends and I just couldn't get very far in it. So it was always one of those games that I think I wanted to come back to and beat, which I have over the years plenty of times. I'm sure you guys have as well. But I don't think there are many Kid Icarus games out there. I think there's this one. There's this one, the Game Boy one, which isn't too far off from this one. And then there's probably my favorite of the series is Kid Icarus Uprising, which was on the 3DS. I would love to stream that. I just don't have any hardware to do so. It's something I've wanted to look into, even like soldering on a capture board to my 3DS. I've got a couple of 3DSs, so I could probably afford to butcher one. The guys with the big noses. So, I was saying before the challenge room didn't fill out. This isn't really a challenge room. This is more like a farming room, I guess. And the more hearts you get, obviously, the more things you could buy. But it does go toward... Getting the hearts goes toward... It's kind of like experience. It goes toward getting upgrades. And you're going to need it. There's plenty of like weapon upgrades. Makes just your weapon stronger. I believe then there's also health upgrades. But it's not very clear. You have to just like experiment. I think I remember reading an FAQ at one point that outlined the amount of hearts you needed to get everything. Of course, the Reaper is here. Probably the most annoying enemy in the game, because she goes bat crap when you when you are in her line of sight. All right. So, for the uninitiated, this is like a bonus room, right? So you have to try to open as many as you can. Don't get greedy. If you get the little Reaper, it's you get kicked out. You don't get anything. So, I think there is a pattern to these. I don't know. I'm going to avoid this one down here on the bottom right. Depends on which one you shoot open. It was bottom left. Shoot open first. and what item it is, and there's a set pattern, but I don't have any of that memorized. That's all right. We won't need it, hopefully. So this isn't kind of a frustrating game because you see me jumping these platforms. If I fall down, it doesn't just... oh, that's pretty cool. She's glitched out. If I fall down, it doesn't just scroll down. It will kill you. So you kind of want to avoid that. But the jumping... Oh, here they come. The jumping isn't the best. Feels a little bit slippery. I don't know what this is about. I guess I could go past her. Jumping's a little slippery, so... oh, got some lag there. Yeah, I've been getting lag on this emulator for some reason. So just slippery jumping, I keep interrupting myself. Slippery jumping, and you will slide right off. But the goal is to get to the top. Get to the top. Try to get as many hearts as you can, as high a score as you can, because when you go in here, you can get your upgrade. And I did not get an upgrade, but that's okay. I can get one at the end of pretty much any level other than the labyrinth levels. So what do you use the hearts for? Well, yeah, you could buy things, I said earlier. There are upgrades. You can get a barrel that'll hold healing items. You can get hammers that you use to free the statues in the dungeons. And then they'll help you fight the boss. For the most part, you don't need them. They end up dying. I think it could... I think maybe you do get some sort of like points toward experience if you do rescue, for how many you do rescue at the end. I'm not going to go out of my way for them. I think I could get through the game without it. Maybe the hardest boss I'll fight is the Hydra boss in stage 2. And then I'll probably get really lost in stage 3 against Pandora. Ah. So you could farm hearts. You see these little blue guys who are falling down. They come out of dispensers of sorts. And you kill them all and more fall down. There's no dispenser here, I guess, but typically you'll see one. Yeah, so here's the shop. There are two different types of shops. There's this one with this clown, and he hikes up the prices. So you don't want to... He kind of like sounds like he's trying to rip you off anyway. I think if you push select, there's something like there's some like combination you could try to barter with him. I don't remember. There's another vendor who's a little bit more lenient with the prices. So I'm going to hold off. I'm not going to... I couldn't even afford anything, but I wouldn't spend anything on that guy. Alright, so we want to try to slip in there. Every time you shoot him or her, I always thought it was a her. Probably because that scream sound. But you shoot her and she'll turn around, so you gotta have some patience. And of course, I'm gonna save that drink up there. Oh, actually, no, I think if I go in the door, the drink goes away. So let's take the drink, go in the door. Another farming room. Good. Try to get as many hearts as we can. So I was thinking maybe this game tonight or Metroid, but I haven't played this in a while. So I thought maybe this would be the better option. Maybe next time for Metroid. Could maybe go for one of the speed runs and get the ending. Although I don't think I ever got the best ending. I'm not typically fond of speed runs. You have to, well, not that it's not a challenge, like it's not a challenge worth going for, but I typically have to map things out and make sure I go the right way and have the right power-ups and don't waste time. And sometimes you do waste time. Sometimes areas are a little bit more difficult than you anticipate, where you have to go out of your way. Alright, so this is the better guy. This guy's a little bit more fair. Feather will pick you up if you fall off. If you, like I was saying, you could drop down and die. Feather will save you. Honestly, it might be worth taking, but I'm going to take the potion for now. So if I run out of health, I get a free shot. I am seeing some of these questions come across. I will answer them when I get to the I guess the break in the levels. So has anyone here played, please mention it if you did, Kid Icarus Uprising on 3DS? And what'd you think a bit of that game? I really liked it. It's kind of like a rail shooter. And then it goes into this adventure mode. The only gripe I have, really, is it controls horribly on the 3DS. You have to use one hand on the circle pad and then the other hand on the touch pad. And then you have to use like the L button as well. It used to give me hand cramps. Something fierce. And that game had a pretty cool difficulty system where you could just keep ramping up if you needed to. If you found it too easy, you could go from like 0 to 10 and grades in between, and it all just affected enemy speed and damage and all that. Uh-oh. Stuck in here. Ah, cool. So I had enough points, I guess, to earn my first weapon upgrade. Changes my hair color. Now I have this cool little strength 2 thing going on. So I'll kill things just a little bit easier. Yeah, so, whoop, that was close. Let's get out of here. So let's take a look at some of the chat here. Just gonna hit pause here. All right. Surprise stream, IOPow. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, so far it's been every weekend, so I don't know how surprising it is. I considered posting it as like a scheduled thing, but I didn't know if I was going to commit to it tonight. Yeah, like Jacobian said, they're kind of common, but you never know. What's going on? Not much, guys. I'm doing well. Let's see. Wow, you guys wrote a lot. Yeah, so 3 games are the one on NES, Game Boy, and 3DS. And really, that's where they kind of left him off. I guess they had him in Smash Brothers, Pit. And the funny thing is that he was even in that, was it Captain N? and even the eggplant guy, the enemy, was one of the antagonists in that show. Let's see. Poner 15. Do I have a history of this game? Very small history. Aside from being Greek and kind of like having like a mythology to Icarus, the only other thing is I've played this a lot as a kid, and it was one of the games that we had trouble with beating, my friends and I. All right, let's keep on keeping on. The 3DS holder, yeah, I used that. It's the 3DS holder that came with the Kid Icarus game. you had to basically plant it down on the table, and it held the 3DS in place so you could put your hands in these strange contorted positions just so you could play the game. So for a portable system, it really didn't make sense to lug around this other hand, the little hand, what'd you call it? The 3DS holder. Yeah, the holder. Oops. Another torture room. At least I could leave this one. Some of them you can't leave, and if you finish them, you get a power-up. And I believe you need all the power-ups to get to the end. And if you don't get all the power-ups to do the last level, they send you back to try and farm them. But I think they just send you back like one level, if I remember correctly. Oh. Go up there with the birthday candle. So I think the story of this is that you're actually ascending from hell or something. Like, and you have to get back up to heaven. Oh, I used my potion. That's too bad. I guess when you have only one health bar, it's gonna happen. That's alright. We could get another one. But not right now, I guess. What was the pass? What was the... I don't remember. There was some way to try to barter. Oh well. I guess we'll have to do without it. And sometimes it'll work, and you'll get a discount, and other times you will be... they'll inflate the prices. Almost like they're offended. How dare you? My price is already great. So the 3DS game, I know I keep talking about that one, but it has some really great music. They also tear down the fourth wall and make fun of Pit not being named Icarus. You know what? Let's skip the bottom left again. Ah, we did it. All right, so now if I hit this, I get a feather. Yay. Yeah, so if you get them all without finding the little, I don't know, was he a voodoo doll or something? Looks like a little Grim Reaper. You end up getting all the items, plus a bonus item. So that was good. Now I can be a little more careless. Usually when I get an item like that, I end up wasting it immediately by mistake. So the carelessness sets in pretty quickly. Yeah, I liked Kid Icarus on Game Boy too. I thought it was a good port, I guess you can call it. It is different, but it's not much. It's just like different maps, I guess you could say. Different stages, different looking stages. Same idea. Whoop. And that harp will turn the enemies into hammers, which again you use to save the stone angels. So we want to try to get some, I guess, because I think you do need some if you want to take some shortcuts. You can like break some of them and climb on their heads for ones that you didn't break. So you can almost make like extra paths. I gotta be getting a torture room soon. I don't understand this. Yeah, okay. We don't want this guy. This guy is trying to extort me on items. Whoa. Wow, slow down. I love it. Signature move of the NES. And Super NES. In fact, if you ever played Gradius 3 on Super Nintendo, it's so much easier than the arcade because you have the slowdown. Like, I don't think I could get through that game without it. Big Keith, yeah, I went back and watched that, that episode where I wrestled my dad for, I guess, Christmas money or something like that. Ah, here we go. Torture room. These suck, they really do, because you just have to survive. You can kill these things, doesn't really matter. Your best bet is to just try to dodge, I suppose. And I think if you hang out like right around here, you have the best shot. Or maybe not, I'm getting hurt. You have to hold out. Whoa. Alright, did it. Jacobians. Yeah, I don't know if I ever got that. I'm sure I did. He was playing around with me. Hey, Manny, what's your favorite N64 game? Hang on. Alright, these items... I'll take the fireball. You need 2 health to use the fireball. So I'm not going to be able to use it now anyway, because I only have 1 health bar. Favorite N64 game? You know, that's a hard one. I never really cared too much for Mario 64, but I did like, Oh, no! That was right at the end, too. Alright. Oh, that sucked. Alright, back up. Back up we go. It's gonna be a long night. I liked Wave Race a lot. GoldenEye I put a lot of time into. I think most people did. I also liked... Oh, wait. Oh, at least I have my potion back, so they kind of like save stated it for me. I really liked Blast Core a lot. Put so much time into that. That was a hard game, and I think mostly it was due to the controls on the analog stick for the N64. The hardest thing about that game was controlling, I guess it was like a dump truck, and the only way you could break things with the dump truck was to do a drift into buildings, but you had to do the drift just right so that the tail of the truck crashed into the building just the right way, and then it would just collapse it, and you'd slide right through and break everything in your path. I later replayed that on the Rare Replay on the Xbox, and it's still just as hard to control that thing. Lower prices, press A, B simultaneously on second controller. Alright. Thank you for that. I don't have the second controller or anything like that plugged in, so I'm going to have to avoid that, I suppose. But it was frustrating not being able to figure it out. I thought it was something I could do. Obviously, that I could do without a second controller. Ah, well, that's cheating, right? I shouldn't do it. Nothing I need here. Did I get the feather in the previous? No, alright. Damn, alright. Maybe I'll get the same distribution. I'll have to do that bonus room again, and hopefully I can earn myself a feather. Oh, dude, come on. No more damage. Alright, so I started here. There. 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 1, 2, 3. Yep. Yeah, Jacobians. I hope they're considering it. Like, they have so many IPs, you know, people keep talking about, like, F-Zero and, like, even Metroid to some degree was kind of, didn't have much love for a while. But this one, I feel like that 3DS game was good. It made, like, for a good revival. I would buy a remaster of that for the Switch if they ever put that out. Did I play sports? Nope. I tried to play sports. I did enjoy basketball a bit, but I never, like, really... See, like, I guess by the time I got into it, you're already going up against kids who've been doing it much longer than you, so... It just felt like an uphill battle trying to compete with that type of person. Because, you know, people can be competitive with it, and, some parents get their kids into it, and they're doing it much longer than everyone else. I'm not going to get that, because I want to try and not get hurt. So no, I didn't really. Oh, and I got hurt anyway. Okay. Keep going, keep going. Dang it. Dang it again. I almost wonder if I should not do the torture room this early. I'm really surprised I didn't get the second health yet. I guess I needed to spend like 10 minutes farming. Alright, I think this is the torture room. Yes. Oh, dude. Whoa. Jump. Wow. Oh, no. Oh, no. I got so lucky on some of those. Oh, God. Whew. Brian, what do I consider the hardest game, NES game I conquered? Huh. I'll have to think about that one. I don't know. That's a really good question. I'm not going to die from that again. Oh my God, that was close. Alright, I gotta somehow take out that Reaper with those... I guess they're respawning on me. Those other guys. Of course he saw me. I think I won with Iron Sword. If I remember correctly, I won Iron Sword, and I would say that would probably be the hardest one I ever beat. Finally, the power-up. Alright, now that we're in here, with, like, no health. Right. So, I don't have the map, that's fine. I think this one's pretty straightforward. Should be able to find a hot spring soon to heal up. I'm not going to risk it. Let's keep going. And that's the map right there, but the map is worthless without the pencil. I guess we could save some of these guys. Like I said, I think it contributes to your score, which is what determines when you get upgrades. What do you call it? Alright, Green Devil, what do you call it when you beat the game or a level? Conquered, beat, won, completed. Alright, so if I just beat the game, I say I completed it. I guess this isn't the right way. But if I do everything like 100% type deal, then I consider it mastered. But I don't know, that bar kind of moves around, depends on the type of game. So for a game like Donkey Kong Jr., say, for me, I will consider that beat if I could play through 3 loops of it. On like A mode or something like that. So if I could get through all the stages 3 times for that game, I think there's like 9, that would make it 9 or 12 stages in total. Then I'll be like, yeah, right, I beat it. You know, something like that. By that time, the difficulty's kind of standard. I guess it gets harder, but for the most part, I just don't care to keep going at that point. Some games like Balloon Fight, I did push myself to get to like max score, meaning like the score rolled over. Oh, thank you so much. So I don't care about the map because it's such a small area, but so you see the map there, so it's an 8x8 grid. I'm probably somewhere in the 6x axis and 5y axis. If you go from top left. If you get the pencil, it'll fill in the map as I go. If you get the torch, it'll show you where you are on the map. Kind of like Zelda, where you get the compass, and it'll show you where you are. Or does it show you actually where the items are? Where the boss is, rather. The Triforce, that's it. I forgot what that thing was called. So I guess ideally I would farm and keep buying hammers and keep rescuing everyone. You know what? I will buy some hammers, actually. Actually, no, I'm gonna buy hammers. I'm gonna free some of these guys, because I'm pretty sure that it beats, contributes to your score. So while we wait for this guy to keep refreshing, I'll read some questions. Things called a level or stage or a world. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I say stage, sometimes I say level. In the videos they always say Manny won the game. Yeah, that's what we would say. You win the game. Because I guess that's what you do. You win games in general. And then you complete games is really... Alright, I guess I have to... I'm not getting new inventory here. Oh, Tyler's there. Cool. Yes, Kurt X, I do keep a record of every game I've beaten. In fact, it's this Google sheet that I only started keeping in like 2010. And I've contributed to it ever since. And no joke, if like, I'll consider a game, like if I beat this game on NES, like I'll consider like ROM, NES ROM. If I beat it on this, it counts differently from beating it on like the virtual console or something like that. So in the case of like a PlayStation game, if I had a cross-platform game I was playing like Doom Eternal, right? If I beat that, which I did on PlayStation, but then they had it on Game Pass on Xbox, so I played it there. I consider that as two different beatings of games. So I have about, across all platforms, no joke, I want to say something like 1,300 games completed and beaten. In NES alone, probably around 70. Again, that's only what I've kept track of from 2010. So every year I do about 100 from the... Some of them are real brain dead easy because they're like... just the nature of them. Like if you want to talk about like The Walking Dead or something, Telltale game. Alright, I want to actually... The reason I'm going this way is I know that the boss is the other way, but I want to try to get to a spring. Alright, this isn't going well. I don't like this. If I get eggplanted, I'll be so angry. So yeah, I beat a lot of games. I keep tracking that sheet. Maybe one day I'll share it. Most of it is like PS3, PS4, and PS Vita, and most of it is are the PS Plus games, and then sale items that you get for like $1 or $2. I don't think I've ever actually paid more than... That's not true. Some games I will buy new, but for the most part, I will buy like deep discount sale items that are like $5, something like that. Get like 3 or 4 of them. For the amount that you spend up here for lunch, it's like nothing. So, drop $20 in 1 week on a couple of games, and then just brown bag it. You save money that way, anyway. Alright, got the hot springs. Let's go back. Maybe I can... Of course, right? Maybe I can buy a couple more hammers and free these guys, because I want to make sure... I want to make sure that I get the points I'm worth. Anyone who's played this knows how annoying these guys are. If you get eggplanted, you gotta go all the way to the hospital without being able to attack. I think you're allowed to use your hammer, and that's it. I don't know if I want to go over there. Alright, let's do it. This might be the way to the boss, if I remember correctly. Oops. Let's see, before we go into the boss, anyone use RetroArch? That's what I'm using right now. Am I getting the new Gran Turismo? I don't know, like that's kind of, I think that's basically a sim. Not so much. I like the arcade racers more. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it, I guess, but... What was the game I played? Drive Club, right? I played that in VR. Got a massive headache from doing that in VR, but that was a sim type racer, and I enjoyed it. So I guess I wouldn't be opposed to Gran Turismo. Look at that, nearly doubled my score. That's got to be worth something, right? Yes, power up. It is. Now I got 3 health. Or rather, 3 containers. I need to find the health. I think there's actually a hot spring right away in this stage, because I guess they figure you just came out of that battle. Oh, I guess not. Still, I'm not gonna... do I have a feather? I think I do, right? Yeah, I'm not gonna buy any of that. I kind of want to get the barrel, which will let me hold a bunch of potions. Could have sworn there was a hot spring. Maybe this is it. There it is. All right. Tyler, you ask, how did I first play this game? Well, a friend of mine had it, and we all sucked at it. But it always intrigued me. We used to we called it trading games, but really we're just borrowing from each other, loaning them out. No one actually traded a game permanently. And I guess I borrowed it from my friends and never did. I guess I might have beaten it once or twice. But yeah, that's when I first played it. See how good this is now. I have my fire. Gives me a little bit of width on the attack. So I'm not just shooting a small little arrow. Pew, pew, pew. Pew, 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 pew. Pew, pew. If anything, this is where pew, pew came from. IOPOW, no, I didn't try the discount code in the store because I don't have a second controller handy to do it. I could fidget with the RetroArch settings and change it to the second controller and do it that way, or use the keyboard, but don't have it set up right now, so I don't want to stall the stream to do that. Besides, I don't know if I necessarily need it. I've got a lot of hearts right now. So I go back and forth on wanting to get something like FPGA hardware. I do like having the experience of sitting at the TV and thinking that I'm playing on like traditional hardware, but I don't know. I've been emulating for so long, and I rebuy these games all the time anyway. So they re-release them, and I get them anyway. It's like, I'll just play it where I need to play it. Sometimes I actually find that... Oh, I can't go back now. I can't get that drink. I find that going back and playing on the older machines almost feels like a handicap. Because in a lot of ways, controllers have improved. I mean, I'm using an NES... I'm using the 8-bit DOE NES controller. So I guess it's not really that far off. It feels good, but if I remember correctly, those older controllers, especially like my Genesis controller, had like soft buttons, and they didn't like feel right, and the D-pad was wonky and all that. So, and I think that was across the board with all of my systems. So I am using the 8-bit DOE NES controller, but my next weapon of choice would be, I really think like the Xbox One controller, or the Xbox Series controller is really nice. I really like the D-pad on that thing. If I could only change one thing about it, I would get rid of the beveled buttons where they're beveled up. I feel like the sunken-in buttons of like the NES controller, like they got like that little curve inward. Feels better on my thumbs. Yeah, while I'm here, I'll get this. Maybe I'll have better inventory. Input lag and latency does not bother me. In fact, I hardly notice it. Sometimes, it's not true. I guess I noticed it on some games, but really, I think it's not. It's kind of negligible. I've done pretty well with this NES controller. I've had trouble in the past with some of the wireless controllers, so I do prefer to be wired if possible. Let's buy this. And secondly, I think the Switch is pretty good if you play the Switch Online games there. I like using the button D-pad that they have there on the Joy-Con. But really, I don't feel any latency with the input controls on that. I am kind of sensitive to that sort of thing, and I've been pretty happy with RetroArch and the emulation. Another torture room. Alright, well we did the other one, so we should be able to do this one, right? Probably the best item to have in this is, so he, like earlier I was getting, he gives you one of 3 items that you need to basically go to the last stage. One of them is this fire arrow that is available when I have 2 full bars, at least 2 full bars of health, which I currently do. If I get hit one more time, I will lose it, and I'll have to get more health. The other one is, oh, I guess not. The other one is a bow for better range, and then this wand for like a shield that goes around you. The only problem is that the wand I don't think is usable until you have either 3 full or 4 full bars. So maybe the fireball is 1 full bar. Because I thought it would go away. Oh, dude, this guy machine guns you. Watch out. Alright, let's see. I had an NES dog bone controller, actually. Because when I bought a top loader, I got it on eBay, and I think it came with the dog bone controller. Green Devil is rebuilding his NES. That's cool. Okay, sorry, I'm just catching up here on the chat. So, Voltar says, I can never play Punch-Out on RetroArch, for example. Yes, Voltar's here. That's very good. I will say something about Punch-Out in a minute. Jesse says, hi, Manny. It's been great to see Tyler and you back together as adults gaming again. Yeah, we always kind of did, just... now we're actually, like, doing it together, like, live, I guess. But we would play games when we'd see each other, and we would talk about them, definitely, and, you know, the latest releases. Feel like I know you, but I don't know you. You become so familiar through my retro life. Yeah, so the whole reason why my presence is here now is because I've noticed that you guys have been asking, like, hey, what are they up to? Cousin Manny and Mikey. And streaming, and I always gamed, you know, I never stopped. So streaming was something I had interest in too, and I would watch Tyler do it, and sometimes I'd be in the chat contributing there, but I'm like, what the heck? Let's give it a shot. Let's give it like a real try. So I tried it in the past, but never really stuck with it. I didn't really have the equipment either. The motivation wasn't there. Really, the reason why this is working is because you guys are here. If I were to do this alone, without the backbone of like the My Retro Life banner, I'd have no viewers, and I'd go back to where I was years ago, where I'm like, this is pointless. No one's watching. So as long as you're there, you're enjoying it, I'll keep doing it. I'm enjoying replaying these games anyway. So I think it's a win-win. You know, I like that you guys hang out, and hopefully I get to show you some of these games if you never made it through them before. Yes, Ayapow. Vita had the best D-pad. I totally agree with you there. I was kind of upset when the DualShock 4 and 5 didn't really adopt that. I thought that would have been perfect. In fact, sometimes I preferred to play, as odd as this sounds, remote play my PS4 with the Vita, just because it had the that nice D-pad, even though there was the latency. All right. So I think the middle is going to be him, right? Yeah. That was a wild guess. Another bottle. Oh, too bad I had one already. All right. Yeah, so if I had the barrel item, which I don't think I've seen for sale yet, usually it's pretty expensive. I think maybe it's only available from that guy who rips you off. But if you had the barrel item, you can have more than one bottle for like backup health. We need that dry RPG streams featuring Cousin Mikey. Yeah. You know, we talk about it, he and I, about like, oh yeah, it'd be cool to like go through this RPG just like over the course of a month or something. But I don't know. Realistically, they do take a long time, and I don't know. I guess if there's interest, it doesn't have to be a weekend thing. It could be like we can keep the weekend intact for this stuff. The whole goal of this Versus stream is to try and complete a game in a couple of rounds, meaning a couple of nights. So this game I think we could get done tonight. But if we didn't, we would have a round 2, maybe next weekend or something like that to wrap it up. So while I've beaten this game before, really I think I want to focus on games I haven't beaten, occasionally playing ones I have just for fun. If Mikey did a stream of RPGs, wow, that would be quite the bout. I think what would make sense is like he does it, plays it for a couple of hours, maybe does some progress on his own, like grinding, level grinding, like that doesn't need to be shown, right? And then comes back to do story progression. I think that would be kind of a better idea than just sitting there grinding out gold and experience. Glad you like the setup. I've been playing. I'm a programmer, but I've always loved tinkering with graphics and just like doing video. I worked for a company that did a lot of video production. And they had software that would craft video and do graphic creation. So I kind of know all the terms and what to look for, I guess. So I'm an amateur still, but I enjoy doing it, so I like to take time to do that. So I'm glad you guys like the look. In fact, that's why I didn't work on this, didn't play this last night, because I was working on some of the graphics that you see on the right there. I went through a couple of iterations before deciding on, we'll just make it pretty simple. When we're... Oh, I hate these guys, they steal your items. When you're broadcasting a 16:9 resolution... Ah, dude, he stole it. If you touch him, he steals your items, and he stole my longbow. Oh, God. You can't kill him. Alright. Well, that's unfortunate. I don't remember if I have to just earn it back, or maybe I get it at the end of the level. Either way, by the time we get to the end of the game, we'll have the ability to refarm that stuff. Why'd I have to do that? It's not right. That enemy off to the right always reminded me of... There's some enemy in the Goonies 2 game that kind of looks like that, and I always thought of him. I guess it's supposed to be like the Abominable Snowman or something. Or a skier, I don't know. Oh yeah, alright. Dude, kiss my butt. You know what? Should I do it? I have the money. I'll get this. I'll get the longbow. Yeah, laugh at me. Laugh at me all you want. I'm saving creation so you can keep living. At least I think. I don't know. Is that what's happening here? So I did not know that this uses the Metroid engine. That's interesting. I guess so when you think about, like, even some of the graphics look the same. And that's the thing, you may as well reuse as much as you can. And I didn't even know all these years until you mentioned that. Vultar. Alright. Oh, oh, come on. Dude. Alright, so I got slowed down. I don't know, something happened, I guess, on my computer and slowed down. And well, at least I got my items back. And I slipped off the ledge into the drink, and then, well, you saw what happened. I think we wanted to do... Oh. Just so I know that this is still going, and that, like, the stream didn't accidentally crash, can someone please say something in chat? Can't reach it. Ah, there you go. Thank you, Ayapao, for saying something. Yeah, lately with these streams, I've been noticing RetroArch has been giving me some trouble. Did a hard reboot earlier, hoping that maybe it was just, I had too much, going on. Some background processes, but guess not. But you know what? Maybe that's for the best, because now I've got those 2 items back, and maybe I can dance around those thieves a little better. Alright, we have 3 arrows. Still, good. Ooh, that was close. That was a dumb move I made. I almost fell. Nah, you know, I haven't really had trouble with RetroArch. It might be because I'm using it and streaming at the same time. But generally, I like RetroArch because I can have the same configuration for graphics and even controller across all the cores. So I don't have to worry about... I mean, maybe you could do that with OpenEmu, but in general, I just like how that all works. I use Launchbox as the front end, and then RetroArch on the back end for the emulation. And RetroArch integrates nicely with Launchbox too, so that's another reason. Alright, I'm gonna inch closer, and hopefully I could totally avoid these guys by jumping up there. Ah! Whoa! I'm so nervous. Alright, I think we did it. So, dying earlier has paid off. Who would have thought? But I do know that there are more of those guys by the end of the game, so I'll have to be careful again. Yeah, I think someone mentioned Nesticle. That was like the first emulator I ever used. I think a lot of us, probably the first one we ever used. If you were into it from... Dude, I was... Back in high school is when I got into it. Oh no! I pushed down to duck. At least I had the feather. Yeah, back in high school, I think it was like 11th or 12th grade, like 97 or 98, is when I started finding emulators. And my friend and I were like just amazed by it. I had a bunch of 3.5-inch floppy disks, which had like 1.44 megs on them. And I had just a series of like 100 of them with different, oh, I'm gonna get the barrel. I had, so I would download all the ROMs. I didn't have a large hard drive either. It was like a 500 meg hard drive and upgrade to 1.6 gig, which was a very expensive upgrade, I might add. A couple $100, maybe 400 if I think back properly. That was, yeah, I saved a long time for that. Anyway, small hard drive, so I download the ROMs, and what I would do, yeah, Nesco is DOS. What I would do is I would make a zip file of all of them together, as many of them as I could fit. But you could partition, or rather, you could split the zip up into multiple parts, and each part could be exactly the size of a floppy disk. So across like 100 floppy disks, I would have all these ROMs zipped up. So if I ever wanted to, the bad side to this is, if I ever wanted to get them off of there, I would have to copy all 100 floppies over to the hard drive and then unzip them all. I mean, there are better ways to do it, which I found later and did that, but it was that was back in the old days. A little hard drive, my little floppy drive was going crazy. It was I'm surprised it didn't burn out, all the backups I made. And the worst part about it is that I think I just like discarded them at some point and just I had downloaded them a different way anyway. Nowadays, you download them and you get full sets, and they include all these different versions that are bad dumps and hacks, and filtering through all that crap. Oh man, I have the list curated pretty well now. Back when I was doing playing emulators for the first time, it's like you weren't getting 60 frames per second even. You're like getting like 30, maybe less. Super Nintendo was like a pipe dream at the time. It wasn't working well. You know, very spotty compatibility. And that was like where it ended. Like, you wanted something better than a Super Nintendo, it just wasn't happening. And it's all come so far over the years. Yes, Brian. We used to download MIDI files. There were actually, I liked a lot of the digital music back then. People would make I think they were called like mod files. I don't know, but they were basically like enhanced MIDI. They had like better instruments. But Mikey and I used to play a game where we would browse to I don't know if it was like VG MIDI or videogamemusic.com, something like that. But basically, they had all the MIDI files. Someone uploaded all the MIDI files for all the game music, and they were all recreations. They weren't like ripped out of the game or anything. But the game that we would play is we would basically play Name That Tune or Name That Game. We would play a song from a game in the MIDI format there and say like, all right, what game is that from? You know, give a little piece of it. It was a lot of fun. We used to play that. And of course, you know, being the way we were, we didn't pick easy games. We always picked the hard one, like obscure games. But games that we did play, you couldn't pick a game that we didn't own. Like, that was the rule. But you'd pick something like, you know, the ending music for a game that you didn't beat, maybe, or something like that, just to make it difficult. Back in those days, there were two things you were looking for: a graphics card that did like SVGA graphics, or if you were real lucky, you had like a Voodoo card or 3D, you know, something like that, 3D effects Voodoo card. And you always had to go for the Sound Blaster for the audio. Nowadays, it's so easy. It's like everything's just plug and play. Wheelchair gamer, and I'll get to more of the comments in a second. But do you know how to hack any of the mini systems? Yes, I do. I downloaded. There's a program called HackChi that lets you dump ROMs onto it, and I did that for a while. Just to have it kind of like plugged into the TV. But at the end of the day, it's just not a good emulator. And you could I think you can actually put a RetroArch instance on there because it's just a Raspberry Pi, and that works a lot better. But still, the hardware just wasn't as capable as it needed to be. So still, the best choice for me is to run it the way I am now on my gaming laptop. Overkill, but it does the job. Ah, no. I thought there were like secret walls. Maybe that was the Game Boy one where you could shoot the wall and like reveal a secret door. So, since we're on the topic of emulation, of course it's a gray area, ethically wrong. And I get it. Honestly, though, I will say that because I have had access to these games through emulation, I have definitely spent more money in general on retail games, especially like I don't buy any like old retro carts or anything like that. But I'll buy, like I was saying earlier, the virtual console versions, even though I could emulate it. To me, there was always the convenience factor of having it, say, on the 3DS or something like that. Even having it on, before, I guess before, like, the Pis came out, having it on your TV wasn't so easy, right? You'd have to have a computer hooked up with the TV out, which we've done, but you're operating a computer, you have to have a mouse and keyboard nearby, it's just not ideal. But, having it on, say, the Wii or the Wii U, it was always just much better. It was, like, integrated into the system. So, yeah, definitely, like, playing the games illegally in the gray area, regardless of if you own the cartridge or you delete it after 24 hours, I don't even think any of that was true, but I mean, you should have a right to a backup. I get that, but someone's got to write the software for it to run it. But I don't know. The experience was always more genuine when it was done legally, say through the Wii, Wii U, Switch, 3DS, whatever. So I've definitely spent a ton of money on rebuying these games and like buying new games, and hey, look at that guy down there. Never saw that happen before. Buying new games and getting more invested in Nintendo in general. So I think in the long run it worked better for them, although they would probably not want to admit that, but I think a lot of people are in the same camp as I am. They got the games illegally, downloaded from a friend or something like that, gotten from a friend. They revisited their childhood for a weekend and then said, you know what, I'm going to go out and buy a DS or I'm going to buy a Switch or something like that. I guarantee it. Little thief. In fact, I kind of got back. I was always kind of into gaming in general, but I stopped for a while. I was playing World of Warcraft exclusively for many years. In fact, I think it was like 14 years I played it. Actively for about, I don't know, I'd say 10. And then the last 4 years of it, I kind of didn't touch it, didn't like it so much. But I maintained the subscription, played a little bit here and there. But when I started giving that up, my girlfriend at the time, was she had a DS. I went over to her place and I'm like, oh, what's that? Oh, it's a DS. And she had like, I don't know, she had Yoshi's Island or something like that, the DS version. And I played it, I'm like, wow, this is really fun. It totally got me like back invested again. And then first thing I did was I got I ended up getting a flash card for that, which I think it was R4DS was the one I got. And like right away, downloaded all of the Nintendo DS emulators for NES, SNES, whatever. And picked right up where I left off, and then got reinvested in all these series, and then they started making them native downloads, and I just latched onto that instead. Alright. The Switch is like the ultimate machine. It sure, like, performance-wise and feature-wise, it's kind of lacking, but as a potato, it is a really good machine. I'll buy anything on there, because most of the games I buy anyway are retro-inspired, so it works out great for that. All right, I'm going to read some of these comments here, try to get back to your questions and comments. Go back to Nesticle. Yep, played Nesticle. Not going back to Nesticle. If you remember, I think the icon for Nesticle in Windows was a pair of testicles, and I think there was a severed hand as like the mouse pointer in the in the emulator itself. How much did you play this game as a kid? It looks like you put a lot of time into it. I guess I played it enough. Generally, I think I've honed my skill on this one over the years, so if it looks like I played it a lot, it's because I've gotten older. I've learned the patterns, that sort of thing. Oh yeah, someone said, yeah, Iopow, your mouse cursor was the severed hand. FCEUX is a good one too. I think I'm using Messin on this one right here. The Messin core. Floppy drive was singing songs. Hey, something to look into is look up, there's some guy, I guess, has a YouTube channel where he has an array of floppy drives that are just configured to play all sorts of different songs, like real songs. Like, I don't know, let's just throw one out there, like a Aerosmith song or something. Listen to video game music. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, Tyler remembers playing that game with Mikey and myself. Name That Tune MIDI game. We made a lot of fun things up. I'm glad you remember that. That was a good time. I enjoyed those. ZSNES and SNES 9X were the Super Nintendo emulators to go to. I think ZSNES was better. It had better performance. May not have been as accurate though. But, that kind of didn't matter. If you couldn't play the game because it was too choppy, who cares if it was less accurate? Delete the ROMs. Yeah, wow, you guys wrote a lot. All right, catching up. I'll cut it off there. Yeah, I did get my Wii mod. Well, I didn't mod it, but I downloaded the Homebrew channel before they shut it out. Yeah. Yeah, they shut out the Homebrew channel. There's always a way to get around it, though. Sometimes you could do something that might brick your machine if you didn't do it right. I was always weary of that, but all my machines survived. So this is what I was saying, where you can actually break open a shortcut if you have the hammers. I don't know what's over here, though. I don't even know if I could get this guy. There he is. All right. But I'm not going to... Should I go that way? I have to look for hot springs. Alright, we'll go that way. Yeah, so World of Warcraft, man, I fell in love with that. That was... Playing that game, it was... I guess I played Final Fantasy XI a little bit before that. But playing that just felt so different and so refreshing and new. And legitimately, I would spend like just hours just on foot, walking around and checking out the environment, exploring. And it's just such a good time. Eventually, the formula... oh, shoot. The formula was figured out, and all the expansions kind of felt the same, and you could basically break the game because you knew exactly how it operated. So that's when I kind of lost interest. But I met a good group of people playing with them, doing raids. Tried to raid hardcore. I think I did pretty well. We had some... The guild I was a part of did some server firsts, which was fun. But it was basically like a second job. I'd come home at night, turn that on, and that was my night. A couple hours there getting that done. But I don't think I would have traded that in. That was kind of like something that was worth it. Oh, good, I found it. Iop House stopped at Burning Crusade. Yeah. That was my favorite one, Burning Crusade. In fact, I kind of picked it up recently just to do like the classic, Burning Crusade Classic, but I didn't really get very far. I made it to like level 10 and quit. Alright. I always consider going back. Mikey was very much into the Final Fantasy games, the Final Fantasy 11 and 14. And I played... you know what? Do I want to get... Yeah, you know what? I'll get the map. I will get the torch, actually. Maybe I'll get both. I played 14 for a while, and I liked that a lot, but it was just too much effort to keep up. So I stopped. One day I'm going to get back to those games. I keep saying that. Maybe now that Microsoft has... Blizzard, maybe they'll do something good for WoW. No! Oh boy, that was close. So if you notice, I don't have my special items because when you're in the labyrinth here, they just don't work. I'm on the top right. It seems kind of counterintuitive because I earned those. Yet I'm not allowed to use them. Probably on the most important part of the game. So I'm not really sure where the boss is. Maybe I'll get the map and we could see where we've been. Now, I definitely know I'm going to get lost in the last labyrinth. Yeah, nothing can top your first MMO. Like, and that's the thing is, you're never going to get that experience again, and it's kind of sad. I guess I feel the same way about some of these games too, because over the years I've just gotten so refined at playing some of them that there's really nothing left that would surprise me, that I would genuinely be... what's the word I'm looking for? That would give me like a genuine challenge. You know what, if I go up there, I'm going to get hurt. If I come down, I'm going to get eggplanted, so I'm not going to go up there. Well, I guess I got to go somewhere else then. Can't go that way. But I feel like... On one of these, I feel like the boss is up there. Hell with it, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I think this is the boss. I think when you see these statues here, I think that means that you have the boss in the next room. Or you've just entered the labyrinth. It's either the for both the entrance and exit. Let's get this guy too. Now I think this boss used to give me some trouble. I guess not. This guy's kind of easy. Very simple pattern. But you see what I'm saying? Like, rescuing those guys is pointless. because they just drop. But like I was saying, I think it affects your score by rescuing them, even if they die. In a positive way, I should say. So I get more score. But at this point, I think I'm pretty much strong enough. How many? I've got 3 strength arrows. I think there are 5 total, and I don't think you could get the 5th one on the first playthrough. I'm not sure. Or maybe you can. Yeah, I think you can. I think there's actually like a good ending, or the best ending, if you have everything decked out. I think I read that. I'm being a little careless. Taking some damage when I shouldn't. Yeah, so going back to earlier, it was mentioned, asked if I keep track of games I beat. Yes, I do, which I said, but does anyone else do something like that? I'm kind of curious. Is healing? Nope. Turned into the hot springs, but it's not a hot spring. Reading, sorry. Yeah, you're never going to get that first-time experience again, is the gist of what we're talking about here. Oop, let's go in here, see what's up in here. Very good, a hot spring. So I think I should have the shield, too, when I get that last health bar full. Yeah, so that'll help. And I have 3 arrows, so hopefully get one more before the end. Another thing I like to do is I like to go for achievements and trophies. And there's a site called Retro Achievements that links in with emulators. In particular, they have good RetroArch support. So I have that turned on here. And I'm not getting pop-ups because I disabled it, but I should be getting achievements for this. So they have some really cool challenges. The Mega Man 2 ones were really difficult, but fun to do, ranging from everything from, you know, basically beat this boss using Mega Buster only without getting damaged, you know, beat that boss same way. Probably, if I'm thinking about the challenges I did, one of the more fun ones, kind of annoying, I guess, but it was fun, was to beat DuckTales with $0 at the end. And there's actually a special ending for that. And the way you do it is that at the end of the game, I guess it's Glomgold steals your treasures, and they decrease your money. So if you go to the end of the game, I think with $6 million, you can then have him steal. He steals all the treasures. I think it was 6 million. No, maybe it's something else. 3 million. Anyway, he takes all the money. You can end up with $0. You have to can't pick up any treasure during the level. You can't have any time on the timer at the end of the level. So you have to like literally pick up the final treasure after beating the boss with like maybe 1 second on the timer, and you won't get any money for the time. Yes, but there's a special ending that you can get. Like, it's just the newspaper at the end. It says something like, the duck is broke. And it shows him in, like, the damage animation. So I just peeked. I saw someone say that MUDs were... there are these things called MUDs, which I guess were multiple user dungeons or something like that. We used to play one on a BBS system, bulletin board system. You dial into this guy's BBS. He owned like the computer shop up the road, and we used to play. Mikey loved it a lot. It was Major Mud. It was like one of the first MMOs that we ever played, I guess you could say. And it was all text-based. It was a text adventure. I think there was like a graphical add-on that would interpret the text and just give you like graphics to look at based on it. And you would do things like attack skeleton and, you know, you type out everything you wanted to do, and you had gear, and it saved your progress on the server, and you can barter with other players and trade items, and maybe even PvP, I don't know. That was a lot of fun. That got us into online gaming, really. And then Diablo 1 we were playing at that time as well. Warcraft 2, and then they had... Warcraft 2 had a network mode. So if you had multiple computers, like a LAN set up, which, you know, usually you wouldn't have that in a home. But maybe if you were away at college, you'd have that. If you could play the games on the LAN, you could also, like... what was it? Halo played that way too. If you had multiple Xboxes around, you could play like 16-player Halo, 4 players on each screen. But the cool thing is that back if you had a PC, you can like simulate a LAN network and plug your Xbox into it and play with other people online who are doing the same thing. So you basically made a simulated LAN over the internet. Connection was horrible. You know, back then broadband really wasn't that big a thing, so dial-up was the way you had to do it for the most part. And even if you had broadband over long distances wasn't really that good. But I remember playing... I have everything. I guess I didn't have to do this. I wasn't paying attention. All right. Yeah, but I played Halo that way a bit, and that was a lot of fun. Then they had, of course, Xbox Live ended up coming out, and that was the go-to standard for how to do online gaming, especially for a console. It was just so much easier. Strap on the headset, talk with your friends, trash talk. Played a lot of Rainbow Six, Black Arrow, I think it was. And I distinctly remember they didn't like playing with me because I guess I figured out that your accuracy was better when you crouched. So when we would play these death matches, I'd run in and then crouch and just like headshot them. Other than that, I'm no good at competitive first-person shooters. So I never really kept up with it. So yeah, Brian, we used to play Warcraft 2 before they had Battle.net Edition using like GameSpy Network, I think it was, where you could create rooms and lobbies and they would host everything for you. They also had like card games and stuff that you could play on there. But that's how we used to do it. Warcraft 2 that way. Yeah, Duke Nukem, StarCraft, I guess. They all had the same method. Tunneling? Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, that makes sense, tunneling. So I don't know if we talked about this. Actually, sorry, I see. Threat Level Game Night. I like that name. Which is, I guess, a reference to The Office and Threat Level Midnight, which is totally a movie I would want to see. Starring Michael Scott, of course. Hey, Manny, I've been getting into NES games. I've never played Castlevania game. Which do you recommend to start with? Well, if you're doing NES, I would just say start with number 1. Number 3 is pretty difficult. Not impossible, but pretty difficult. Number 2 is very cryptic. You're going to have a guide for that one. In fact, I wouldn't even really consider it a Castlevania game. It doesn't really fit the bill. But number 1, I think, is simple enough and classic enough, if that even makes sense. So I would say start with that one. Definitely. Love the slowdown. Yeah, Halo Combat Evolved, so if you have the Master Chief Collection, you get all the Halos in there. That's totally worth playing. X-Link Kai, yes, that Phone Rocks 15, I'm not sure how to say it, but PNWRX 15, yes, X-Link Kai was the app I used to do the Halo tunneling. I am not a Battlefield player. I tried playing I tried playing Battlefield 5, and it started out by, I guess, playing through the stories of a couple of soldiers, and maybe they talk about later on, and I would die, and basically I would move on to the next story, which was alright, but I didn't get very far. I got to this part with the tank, and the tank I could not take out the further away artillery, and I just got chewed up, and I got frustrated and said, yeah, I'm not going to continue this. It was on EA Play, so I didn't have to really pay for it other than the subscription, which was part of Game Pass, so it all worked out. These things always reminded me of, like, tomatoes that had worms growing out of them. If I touch them, I get zapped. I guess they look like upside-down squids. I think this is 3-3. Yeah, alright, so we're almost at the final dungeon. And then it's off to the end. Nope, nothing I need. Oh, Resident Evil Outbreak? Is that what you're saying? Is that a game? Or is it just Outbreak a game? Yeah, I was into Resident Evil. I only played 2 and 3 in my youth. I played 1 much later. And then I played some of 4. Didn't really get into it, but I want to. And I played through 5. Never played 6. Really, really liked 7. Really, really liked Village. Never played Code Veronica. So I do have a backlog of games in the series I want to play. I have the 2 remake that I never finished either. Maybe I'll do that one of these nights. I started doing that on streaming before it was with my Retro Live. Kind of want to do a Final Fantasy VII remake live just so I could get through it, give me the motivation. That's the thing, is nowadays RPGs and games that take like 40 plus hours to complete, I don't have the time and patience for it. But if it's in this setting, I might be able to do it. Give me a little bit of drive, you know? Holy cow, look at this. Is Outbreak the online game that they were doing, was it for free, or maybe it came with RE8? Because I think they had almost like a beta or something when I bought Resident Evil 8. It was actually kind of fun when I played it. I'm gonna buy this. I don't think we necessarily need all of the, since we're going toward the end, I don't think we're gonna have to get many, I only have one hammer, many of the angels anyway. Now you can count beating the game on stream. Yeah, I don't. Are you saying like track that sort of thing? Yeah. Actually, I actually added a column into my spreadsheet for that. Yeah, I know I got a problem. Well, really, it's just so I could keep track. Maybe we'll see if we get some extra hearts here, because if we... Like I said, I'm going to get lost in this one, and this one is, I think, pretty notorious for having some one-ways that if I slip and don't go the right way, I have to go all the way around again. All right, so let us get... We're going to get the... Let's get the torch so we know where we are. Okay. We're on the bottom left. So if you see the flashing box, I think that's like maybe one screen over, one screen up from the bottom. Don't know where the boss is here. Generally, I thought they were on the bottom right, but I think this one might be on the top left. So I'm going to aim for the top left, if memory serves me correctly. And I think to get there, we have to go to the right and then up the side. You know, the Resident Evil game I liked a lot was... you think I'd be able to remember it? Revelations. I like that one. I really like that one a lot. I don't know why. And I also like the Mercenaries mode that they had in there. The Raid mode, rather. I think it was called Raid mode. I used to play that on my 3DS online. But after Resident Evil 8, they kind of closed that storyline, so I'm curious where they're going to go with it. I think Tyler has to still finish Resident Evil 8. So get on that, Tyler. Finish that game. It's worth it. You should play 7 as well. I played 7 in VR on the PSVR. Oh, man. I played that exclusively on the PSVR. That was quite a trip. It was amazing. It was just so scary. Like, you'd put the headset on, and I remember I would take almost take a deep breath and get my head into the game before starting it, because I had to be ready for jump scares and like anxiety because something is chasing me, especially when you before you get rid of Jack. There's one part where you hear him chasing after you, looking for you, and then he just busts through the wall and tries to he basically tries to strangle you. Yeah, I see. The thing is, like, kind of going back to convenience. My next VR system will have to be the PSVR 2. So unless they put Resident Evil 4 VR on that, I probably won't get another. I probably won't play it because I like having it tethered to the PlayStation for whatever reason. My friends play on there, so it gives me that opportunity to play with them. So if I get it, I think then hopefully they have RE4 on there. I guess the Oculus Quest is a good option too, because that's an even more convenient setup. There's no wires, I think it's just straight up headset. Charge it and go. And honestly, that's the best option. And I don't think PlayStation's going that way. But I think they're talking about 4K per eye. I went this way before. Which, if you're doing 4K per eye, that's going to be pretty amazing. I'm looking forward to that. All right, so I think I've pretty much exhausted going down below here. I gotta find a way to get back up there. Gotta be careful of the eggplant people, eggplant guys. Yeah, so if you watched Captain N, I think it was Captain N, Game Master or whatever it was, the main character was the kid who became Captain N. His team was made up of Kid Icarus, he's like this little scrawny guy with almost like a smoker's voice. He has this raspy little voice. Or maybe that was Mega Man I'm thinking of. Yeah, Mega Man had the raspy voice. And there was Pit and Simon Belmont, who was like this totally vain narcissist. It was great. And the enemies were Mother Brain, who I think had a crazy wild voice like this. Yeah, something like that. Almost like, I feel like, what is it? Like a Little Richard type voice. And then there was the eggplant guy, and King Hippo from Punch-Out. King Hippo. All right. So there was something I want to say about Punch-Out earlier. We were talking about latency and emulation. So Punch-Out, definitely, that's a hard one to play on an emulator. You need some precision on that timing. I used to love playing Punch-Out, but I had such a hard time getting my butt kicked playing it on emulation. And Super Punch-Out especially. I don't know, just like, you get up to... There's that, like, wise man looking guy. Oh, no. Oh, no, don't get eggplanted. I think we're at the boss. He has a staff and totally cheats, and that is like a... that's a game ender right there. Oh, maybe we're not at the boss. I thought we were at the boss. But I think we're going the right way, so that's what is most important. But yeah, you beat the Narcissist Prince, and I don't remember the name of that guy. The dude, the old man with the cane. But it took me forever to figure out how to defeat that guy. Alright, what I'm waiting for here is I want them to throw high, and they're not. Because if I get eggplanted here, I'm going to be really mad. Ah, it went out. Ah! Damn it. I gotta go all the way back. Oh, no. Yeah, I gotta go all the way back to the hospital now, which was all the way back down here. That's right. That's what I didn't like about this. Gotta go lower. So I don't know if I found the hot springs. That would be handy, because now I'm dipping into my potions. Which I guess is fine, because the boss I don't recall being very difficult. And then the last stage is pretty easy as well. Eggplant Wizard, that was it. Thank you. I kept calling him Eggplant Guy. It's almost like a troll enemy, you know? Like, it's just there to annoy you. Just to take away your attack, make you run the other way. Waste time. Alright. So, hopefully, we can find a hot spring. I'm going to try one area that I didn't try earlier. If I go down here. No, I guess... No, I did try this earlier. If I go down here... Might have tried this earlier, too. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Ah, goodness. Oh, good. Whew. I was getting worried there. See you, Brian. Thank you for the luck wishes. I'm pretty sure we'll finish it. What time is it? It's nearly midnight my time. We've gone later. Should be able to get through this within the next maybe half hour. Oh, no, you don't. Alright, so we go up. Keep on climbing. So what RPG... Alright, let's see. If you had a chance to see Mikey play a role-playing game live over so many different streams, which game would it be? I'm kind of curious. I think he would do either Dungeon Master or Eye of the Beholder or one of those dungeon crawl games, maybe like Legend of Grimrock, Stonekeep, Anvil of Dawn he just beat as another one. That's a good game. We gotta convince him, that's the thing. He's gotta join us one night. Skies of Arcadia. Maybe we could talk him into it. Alright, now I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful here. Throw it high, dude. Thank you. I think there's another room with these dudes in them. Coming up after this. Alright. Dark Alliance? What? Are you talking about the new one? Or, old Xbox games? I think he just played the re-release of the old Xbox game, Dark Alliance. That's a fun game. It's pretty tough, too. Like, if you're playing solo, we played that a lot together, but if you're playing solo, there's a lot of running away to let your energy and health regenerate before going back. Especially if you're like a hand-to-hand class. I don't know, I found that one pretty difficult. But there's a new one. A new, Dark Alliance. Alright, here we are. Pandora. Pretty basic pattern. Probably the worst thing here are the balls bouncing around. He's just bouncing off of platforms anyway, so should be able to kill him pretty easily, I think, right? I really wanted to read what you guys are saying here. I'll get to it right after this. We used to play a lot of the Dungeons and Dragons computer role-playing games. Like Pool of Radiance. Even the Baldur's Gate games in Icewind Dale. Those are some pretty fun games. Nice, deep game. Character, build your character up, character growth, all that. Although they always felt to me like sometimes they were a bit unfair. Like, I feel like some classes and some spells just weren't made for the game. This guy's taking quite a few hits here. So I wonder if I found this easier or harder when I played it when I was younger, fighting this boss. There we go, he's dead. Because he goes invisible for the most part, but you could see him passing across the statues. His shadow passes across them. So, like on an old CRT sitting so far away, like I'm right up close on this and got crisp, chunky pixels that we're looking at here. So it's easy to make it out. I wonder if I had trouble earlier on in life. All right, before we do this last stage, let us read some comments, some chat. All right, so Skies of Arcadia, Final Fantasy II is a great one. Oh man, I would love to do that one, honestly, rather than him do it. Baldur's Gate 2, Dark Alliance, yes, yes and yes. Yeah, I'll talk to Mikey about it. I think he would be interested. So heck no to the new one. Yeah, so the new Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance it's definitely not the same. It's almost like you queue up to do these missions, and at least that's what I got from it. I liked it, but I was playing it alone. I probably would have liked it better if I had a team to go with. Do you and Tyler both have OG Xboxes? Yes, I actually have two of them. They're both mine from when many, many years ago. One of the disc trays on mine, I have to tape closed because it just keeps wanting to eject the disc. But that's the only problem with them. Other than that, they're kind of loud. I do have the HDMI adapter now, so I have been playing some games. Probably my favorite game, or at least one of them, on the OG Xbox was a little game called Kung Fu Chaos, which is like you play the role of like a ninja or the sidekick in a B movie that's being filmed, and so you're on set and there are all these like supporting actors and enemies and stunt people and wires hanging from the ceiling, and you're jumping around doing this sort of arena combat type thing where you're fighting all the enemies. You know what? I'm talking about it now, but I think we're going to stream that one day. That's such a great game. I think that would be really fun to stream, especially for people who've never heard of it. It's just so campy and corny, and they really play into the fact that, you know, they're making like this B action movie, ninja movie. So, last level. I have all the treasures that I got along the way. Maybe I was wrong about those other treasures with the fireball, because I don't think I needed them after all. But I need these. So these came from the bosses, and those weren't being stolen by those little thieves. So yeah, I think it's just this one level all the way to Medusa, who's the end boss, who you see right there in the graphic on the right. That's Medusa, and that's Pit all dressed up to fight Medusa. And the game basically turns from a platformer to a shooter. And for the most part, I think you could just hang out like down here or something, or up here. I don't know. There's areas where you could just hang out and no one will bother you, but I'll just play along, try to kill these guys. I think if I end with a good score, which I have like 200,000-ish. Yeah, 200,000. That might get us one of the better endings. The ending has to do with Pit. Essentially, I think he like grows up or something. You'll see when we get there. There's so many like stock enemies, like these ghosts. And they have such basic patterns. A claw, like that makes no sense. What is all this? So, wonder, do you guys think that this game is hard? Are you surprised to see me climb through this game? Up out of the depths of Hades and up to the heavens here, where I get to fight Medusa and save Lady Palutena. Someone's asking how many endings are there. Oh, I think it's just one ending, but really, like, so if you know how Metroid ends, you could either get Samus with her suit, without her helmet, or without her, like, in a bikini or something in space. Makes no sense, but it's possible. And it all depends on how fast you beat the game. With this, the score, you can get, I think, Pit just as he is, getting congratulated. And then if you do better, he gets muscles, gets taller, like that sort of thing. I don't really remember how all the endings go, how they look, but they're all the same ending, just different graphic. We'll see which one I get here. Should be there pretty soon. Yep, coming up on it. Here it is. Medusa. Very simple. I would say, I think your shield deflects these shots, right? Yeah, it eats the shots. Obviously, you don't want to be without the shield because you're shooting, so you can just do a simple pattern like this. Kill the dragon head. Seems like I have a sweet spot here. I won't get bothered if I sit here and shoot. And that's what it is. Taking advantage of the limitations of 8-bit games to find that perfect spot where you can't get hit. Whoa. Some lag there. Honestly, I didn't know about this spot before coming into this fight tonight. But it's kind of cool that we found it. There we go. She died. Well, then again, no one really dies in Nintendo games, right? They just get defeated, so they come back. Alright, let's see what happens to old Pit. Thanks, Pit. You get to turn into a real boy. Alright. So that's like the middle ending or something. Maybe it's the worst ending. Just gets his helmet. But there's one where he, like, gets up to her height and he gets, like, buff with all these muscles. That is clearly not what happened here. So Medusa was destroyed and the light of peace returned to Angel Land. But in order to maintain peace, Pit's struggle continues. Oh well, sucks for him. And that's that. That is Kid Icarus, NES. Pretty straightforward run, I thought. It's really not a hard game. Like someone was saying, I saw it briefly, but they didn't know that you could grind and farm. Yeah, so you can. There's a limit to how much you could farm in a single level, but if you get under some of those repeating enemies, those little guys that drop the one heart, you could spend like maybe 5 or 10 minutes there just grinding out the hearts, and then you get massive score boost. You get the upgrade to the weapon, you get the health upgrades. We didn't really do that this run, so it's obviously not needed, but we did kill as much as we could as we went, and I think that paid off in the end. I also think dying, when I did die, and was able to restart and not lose my items really helped out as well. Am I gonna go for the other endings? No, not tonight. Maybe one day if we want to sit here and grind out. You know, honestly, I think maybe you could get the other endings in New Game Plus here because my score still exists. So I guess I could, but I'm not gonna. You know what I'll do? I'll make a save state. How's that? And maybe we'll come back to it one day and see what happens. Let me do that. Save state. Saved. There we go. And that's it. We did it. Game over. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. Maybe next time we do Metroid. I know there was a request for DuckTales. Actually, this was supposed to be a DuckTales 1 and 2 night, but last minute, I think Mikey actually requested Kid Icarus, so I said, yeah, I'll do that. But I don't know if he's around. It's kind of tough because tonight's Sunday night and we both have work in the morning, so I wouldn't want to force him to stay up, but maybe he'll watch the replay. But maybe next time we do Metroid. Someday soon we'll do Kung Fu Chaos. Definitely want to do that. Let's see. There's DuckTales 1 and 2. We could probably blast through the whole Disney Afternoon collection in one night, honestly. I think the speed runs on those games are like on the order of 20 minutes or less each. So, not that I'm a speedrunner for them, but just to give you some perspective. All right, guys. It was fun. I hope you had fun too. And this is where I say goodnight, and thanks for watching, and hopefully you come back next time. Have a good one.